going on? Consciouztv, your favorite breakdown commentator. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, go ahead and thumbs up the video until it's absolutely stuck. Thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary, because the king is in fact kanging. So if you can use those fingers to click on the link, use those fingers to type into the chat, you can definitely use those fingers to thumbs up the live stream. Thank you. Teamwork makes the dream work. Shout out to all the new subbies. Make sure that you guys have your notification bell set to all, so that you never miss an hour or a day when the king is in fact kanging. And of course, all donation information is in the description box below. $Consciouztv on Cash App and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the line. Just let the whole words know. The real out, the wood certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, conscious crew? I'm sitting here stuffing my face. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. Girl, it is a lot going on, girl. Hollywood is on fire. It's too much going on. Quick church announcements. We may have a tea on top of tea tonight to get into what took place in last week's tea on top of tea. If that happens, it'll be right here on the platform, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, regular time. Don't hold your breath, but that may or may not happen. Just keep your eye out on the community wall, because you guys know I always post the streams and stuff ahead of time on the community wall, etc. child. Also, we got a lot to catch up on in the Carmelo Anthony versus Austin McCaff trial controversy, girl. It is a lot going on in that situation. My head is blown completely off, but you guys know we're doing all true crime, political, and spiritual conversation and topics in the Patreon. Okay, so you have to be in Patreon to get that exclusive access. When I'm in Patreon, I typically post the link so that you guys have an opportunity to sign up and get into Patreon to support the king. Of course, Patreon is only $5 measly a month. And you get all of the content that's ever been in Patreon since the beginning of my Patreon, which I think goes all the way back to 2019, 2018, child. Goes all the way back. Bite, child. All type of cases and shit up in there, child. Okay, so sign up for that. And if I'm clear, I think that we're clear. All right, I think we're clear. So let's get into, girl, what's happening, girl. All type of shenanigans have crossed my front desk. And the first of them I want to get into is Druski. You guys may or may not know, well, you guys probably do know who the hell Druski is. Live streamer, hangs out with Kai Cenat, Kevin Hart, the other guy I think named iSpeed, Silly, Goofy, Big Ball of Fun, him. Remember a few months ago, there was a civil lawsuit filed against Diddy that also implemented not only Druski, but Odell Beckham, the singer Jaguar Wright, and others. Okay, if you guys have forgotten, because I know there's been 50 million 11 damn civil lawsuits against Diddy child, okay, courtesy of Variety. The lawsuit filed in California late Friday implicates more than a dozen defendants, including Diddy, Odell Beckham, Druski, singer-rapper Jaguar Wright, and others in an assault on Ashley Parham and 2 John Does. Parham alleged in a filing made last October that she had been drugged, kidnapped, and assaulted by multiple individuals after Diddy heard her saying that she believed that he was involved in the 1996 murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. This amended filing identifies several of the individuals who were allegedly involved, including Druski. The alleged comment took place over a FaceTime call between Diddy and associate Shane Pierce in February of 2018, and the alleged assault took place at one of the defendants' apartments the following month. We actually read this lawsuit, you guys. In January, Combs filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit against several people, including Ariel Mitchell, the attorney bringing this lawsuit, in connection with a separate set of allegations. Druski, 30 years of age, denied any involvement in a statement on social media, writing, quote, "This allegation is a fabricated lie. I was not a public figure in 2018. I was broke, living with my mother without any connections to the entertainment industry at the time of this allegation. So the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish. My heart breaks for actual victims of abuse, but I am fully confident that the evidence will expose this falsehood and the individuals who are maliciously trying to gain the legal system to peddle false narratives." You guys also know Odell Beckham had, of course, went and denied any involvement and to double down on his innocence. Well, the motherfucking facts are in order, baby, to vindicate Miss Druski, because courtesy of Megan Connoth, who did a little bit of some in journalism, investigative reporting, girl, she just obtained bank records that validate that Druski was indeed broke as a joke back in March of 2018, when a sensational lawsuit alleges that he was at a celebrity party in California. 91 cents to his damn name. He was also spending money in Georgia, which is pretty far from Miss California, child. As you guys can see here, the big 91 cents. Okay. Deposits and other additions, $205. ATM and debit card subtractions, 119 in the negative, girl. Other subtractions, girl, 85 in the hole. An ending balance in April 9th of 2018 of 91 horrendous damn cents. Okay, the way that a lot of our accounts going to be looking by the time Trump is goddamn done. Okay, as you guys see here, these are also all of the debit card and ATM transactions during that year that he was allegedly, flying around New York with Diddy, living off the hall, girl. As you guys can see here, all of the transactions are from Georgia and on the day of the alleged assault by a plaintiff who claims that Druski was in attendance and one of the perpetrators, girl. Because you guys see here, 2018, 315, 316, 320, 321, 323, 326. Okay, at a Shell gas station, Bank of America, Kroger's, etc. Go the whole night. As you guys can see here, Georgia, or down, up, and through the ground. Okay, but it doesn't just end there in terms of the exoneration. Records, according to Megan Connoth, also show Druski's phone made 16 calls on March 23rd of 2018, all from Georgia. That's the same day the lawsuit alleges that he raped a woman at a party in California. All right, so once again, girl, all of the evidence, bike up, Druski. You guys know Beyonce and Jay-Z just got vindicated when a plaintiff who filed a lawsuit against Diddy also claimed that Jay-Z and Beyonce saw him in the aftermath of the assault, which was not true, girl. They had, once again, public records to show where Jay-Z was, where all these other people were on the day of, girl. Jay-Z was actually at a title event for his own damn company on the same day that he was being accused of being at this party. And as I told you guys before, child, when it comes to these civil suits, we cannot afford to believe a accuser. We just have to really follow the evidence, and we have to let people really try their case in a court of law and follow the evidence, okay? All we can really do is hear a accuser, but, you know, all are innocent until proven guilty. And in the era of the slapstick-ass culture, where people want to clout chase for all the wrong reasons and are willing to bring insidious claims against other people in the name of clout, in the name of payola, in the name of a payday loan. People don't give a damn how they also make themselves look by claiming to be great victims. Like, if you are not a great victim, why in the hell would you take up space and identity in such a thing? There's no genuine and actual great victim that wishes they in fact were a great victim. The fact that people are around here cosplaying as great victims and are attempting to prey on the rich and the famous in order for access to either fame or access to a bottom dollar is gross. It's evil. It's disgusting. I think that these false accusers are absolutely pathetic and mentally ill and sick in the fucking head. And as I always say, I think that a lot of this behavior is going to fall short and fall flat, and we're going to see a decrease in false claims being made against people in a court of law when the court of law creates legislation that penalizes people for making false claims. Okay? That anti-SLAPP situation, it should work both ways, not just from smaller entities against bigger and larger corporations, but from larger corporations against smaller entities as well. It is really disgusting how there's no protection for public figures or for the wealthy in the court of law, and that there just gets to be this open damn season on people's lives, you know. And these public figures have children. Look at the Jane Doe versus Jay-Z case, where Jay-Z and Beyonce had to sit down with their kids and talk about, you know, these claims that were circulating and going viral that he had falsely abused a 13-year-old girl. You know, how traumatizing in and of itself. I don't know why the courts have yet to put any protection mechanisms, any check and balance mechanisms to prohibit this type of weaponization of the justice system, this type of capitalizing off of the justice system. And I don't understand why a lot of public figures and wealthy people, since they see what's going on, since they see that it's open season on their asses, also won't galvanize their powers and link up with other politicians and create legislation that addresses issues like this. Because, you know, we can't stop people from filing claim, but if a person is found to have lied, have embellished, have just all out told untruths, and considering the nature of these type of claims, people should be actually jailed. I'm not going to even say sanctioned, because a lot of these people, a lot of these false accusers are broke as hell. So there's no money to gain from them. Not anything that's going to be substantive, and not anything that's going to be, you know, a grounded remedy for the damage that's done when people have to lose out on sponsors, TV deals. You know, people have to be sat down from the Super Bowl and all type of shit. Jail, jail, jail. Lock these lying ass up. Lock them up and line them up and line them up and lock them up. Okay, deport their ass to El Salvador, girl. It's ridiculous. Damn ridiculous. But you know, if the celebrities, baby, if they don't give a damn to galvanize their infinity stones, and they just in the business of fighting these things, you know, per claim, then so be it. But it couldn't be me, bitch. Okay? Because I would have already galvanized 80% of the damn entertainment industry, girl, and been boycotting and sounding off and down there to the local mayor's office, child. We would have been having damn intimate Illuminati meetings with damn Joe Biden and the Trump administration, bitch. I would be on the government's ass, on the federal court's ass, at both the federal and state level. So, once again, you know, this isn't going to end until it does end, until there is some major consequences for actually lying and wasting tax-paying dollars and resources. We're going to continue to see people take their chances and roll the dice on either getting famous or trying to get a, you know, out-of-court mediation settlement like Tony Buzbee and Jane Doe was trying to do, okay? So until this comes to an end, we're going to have to be very diligent and vigilant when we, you know, address these claims and lawsuits, unless the lawsuits initially come packing with a lot of circumstantial evidence. Outside of that, girl, we're going to have to take it real slow, honey. You know, be real meticulous, child, you know, as we try to make sense of what is going on. Now, while Druski has been cleared, girl, he was too broke and too much of a nobody, girl. He was a common person. Shannon Sharpe done found himself, girl, on the what could be possibly the dark side of the Me Too movement, girl. Are the claims against Shannon Sharpe true and genuine and sincere? Or is he another celebrity being vacuumed into the vortex of clout chasing and thirstiness? You guys may have heard already that Shannon Sharpe has been accused of anally raping a woman in a lawsuit. He demanded complete control, according to the woman. NFL Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe has been accused of rape and sexual assault in a lawsuit filed by a woman in Nevada State Court. The plaintiff, who is suing under the name Jane Doe, alleges that Sharpe, 56 years of age, who now works for ESPN, raped her on multiple occasions over the course of a nearly 2-year rocky consensual relationship, according to a complaint obtained by People. The woman alleges that Sharpe also recorded their sexual encounters without her consent and shared the recordings with others. Quote, a woman can say yes to consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times, but when she says no even once, that no means no. I agree with that. The complaint states, defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. The woman, now a Nevada resident, says that she met Sharpe when she was 22 years old at a gym in LA in 2023. She claims he made multiple advances toward her in subsequent visits to the gym before the complaint says she eventually gave in. Sharpe allegedly asked the woman to sign a non-disclosure agreement before she could meet up with him, but dropped the request after she pushed back, the lawsuit states. The lawsuit recounts a subsequent alleged incident during which she claims Sharpe became violent with her and threatened to unalive her after she showed up late to his home. Quote, he demanded complete control over her time and body, expecting her to be at his house on his schedule, at his demand, whenever he called, the suit alleges. In 2024, both Sharpe and the plaintiff each individually moved to Nevada. The suit references the time in September of 2024. Sharpe says he mistakenly began live streaming himself on Instagram having sex with a woman. The plaintiff states that this encounter was with another woman and that she was humiliated by the incident and began to pull away from Sharpe. I find it interesting that that is what made her pull away from Sharpe, not him being demanding and wanting to seize control over her time and body and expecting her to be at his house on schedule at his command whenever he called. But it was Shannon Sharpe subjecting another woman to this maniacal tyranny and hooking up with another woman that turned her off, girl. I find it fascinating that this is where she draws the line, girl, is, you know, the fact that he was hooking up with other women, girl. Okay, that's where I draw the line. The plaintiff claims that Sharpe subsequently began flooding her phone with calls, prompting her to leave Nevada frequently, according to the lawsuit. The suit then describes on October 2024 incident during which Sharpe allegedly forced the plaintiff into a car and took her to her apartment. The plaintiff alleges that Sharpe then forced her to perform oral sex before anally raping her. Quote, Sharpe grabbed her head, forcing her to look at him as she sobbed, the lawsuit claims. He said, at that point, look at this. Look at my arm. I've got chills. That's how good this is. You know, ironically, that sounds like some corny shit that would come out of Shannon's mouth. In January of 2025, the plaintiff claims that Sharpe asked to come to her apartment to give her a combined Christmas and birthday present. Once there, the plaintiff alleges that in the complaint, he again, ma'am, and you know, I'm not gonna, you know, I don't want to do too much in terms of my critical thinking and my critical analyzing, girl, because it is true that people experience interpersonal violence from their intimate partners. It is true that there are many wives and many husbands and many boyfriends and girlfriends who have been abused frequently, emotionally and sexually in their relationships. It is true that people do not always run for their lives upon the first sign of danger. It is true that people trauma bond with their abusers. Look at Cassie, for God's sakes. You know, she experienced a bundle and multitude of abuses all up and throughout her tenure with high-profile hip-hop disgrace mogul Sean Combs. So it's true. It is true. But, you know, people like me and people like some of you in the comment section who have never been actually assaulted or are the kind of people who are able to disconnect the first time that someone either lays a hand on us or attempts to violate us in some way. You know, we're not the monolith. So it may make it hard for people like, you know, myself and some of y'all to make sense of something that in our brain doesn't make sense, because we will not make space or even bond with another person to the degree in which abuse of any kind would ever be okay. You know, you talk to somebody who hasn't talked to his own, you know, who not talked to, but I haven't been in active relationship to, you know, the bulk of my relatives for the last several years. You know, I'm somebody who can pull back, and I do not, you know, homie don't play that, in the words of the Apollo. You know, and even though there are both sides of this, there still is also a middle of, you know, if you've been brutally assaulted, I don't know what the expectation is. if you allow that person back into your space, you allow that person back into your bed, you allow yourself back into, because it's such a dangerous thing to do. And I know that when we really care about people and love people, you know, some of us can be very long suffering, girl. We just, you know, the abuse itself can be so shocking that you almost, like, that you don't want to believe it. So you give the person the opportunity to make it up to you so that you can tuck that incident or that abuse away and get back to the fantasy of it. But like in most cases, abusers don't strike once. Lightning doesn't just strike once. It strikes multiple times in the same place. And unfortunately, this woman is claiming that she had to fuck around and find out after she had already been initially emotionally and verbally abused, and then had been actually abused. And now she has allowed Shannon Sharpe back into her space, allegedly. And there's going to be another incident. In January of 2025, the plaintiff claims that Sharpe asked to come to her apartment to give her a combined Christmas and birthday present. Once there, the plaintiff alleges that in the complaint that he again actually assaulted her and refused to wear a condom. A representative for Sharpe could not immediately be reached for comment. The plaintiff is requesting $50 million in damages as part of the lawsuit. She is being represented by no other than ambulance chasing, no good, tied, disbarred ass, legal reject Tony damn Buzbee, a high-profile alleged attorney based in Houston who has also represented clients accusing Diddy Combs and NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson of actual misconduct. Quote, I'm extremely proud to be representing Jane Doe. Jane Doe should be running, girl. If she knew anything there was to know about Tony Buzbee, girl, and his bullshit and the way that he is incompetent and don't know what the hell he is even goddamn doing, which is why he had to pretty much pull out of every damn lawsuit he authored against Diddy. You know, she would be heading over the hills right now. But I guess that Tony Buzbee can't really griff off of the Diddy sensation right now, girl. He done found him another high-profile black celebrity to griff off of, child, talking about he is extremely proud to be representing Jane Doe. It takes, quote, a great deal of courage to stand up against those with power, fame, and money. I look forward to pressing this case in court, girl. Tony Buzbee should be banned. He should be completely and utterly nationally damn disbarred. The way that he absolutely intentionally dropped the fucking ball, tried to manipulate and get one over on the courts, brought claims against high-ranking black celebrities and wealthy businessmen without as much as vetting the case at all. Why is Tony Buzbee allowed to continue to take up space in the court after Jay-Z just exposed him? Matter of fact, Tony Buzbee is currently the defendant in a litigation filed against him by Jay-Z for extortion and damn blackmail. So, you know, this woman, by allowing Tony Buzbee to represent her, is already coming in, girl, with the major side eye, because she got to deal with Tony Buzbee's controversial ass. He's not coming in with a good reputation at all. He has been proven to file frivolous litigations and lawsuits against high-ranking persons. That offers a discredit to her case coming into this thing already. And then on top of that, a lot of people just don't even believe that Shannon Sharpe is even heterosexual, yet alone is some hyper nympho male harlot, you know, who's just running through the pussies of all pussies. So I don't know how the hell, if this were to go to trial, girl, would land on a jury. And girl, it's interesting that those queer rumors, those same sex rumors, those same gender loving rumors, actually might work in Shannon Sharpe's damn advantage, girl, because if I was Shannon Sharpe, bitch, this would be the time that I would come out of the goddamn closet. Baby, if I was Shannon Sharpe ass, this would be the opportunity, girl, to queer bait, honey. Okay, ready or not, true or not, girl, would be identified like a motherfucker as a gay man. Cause the fuck, baby. Sharpe spent his NFL career with the Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens, winning 3 Super Bowls. Following his retirement, he became a noted sports media personality. Last week, Front Office Sports reported that Sharpe, who's host the popular podcast club Shay Shay, was expected to sign a 9-figure podcast deal. Now, you guys know there are people saying that there is an attack on wealthy black men, that there is a campaign and a concerted effort to destroy powerful, wealthy, influential black men. There is irony in the fact that Sharpe, is expected to sign a 9-figure podcast deal, and then kaboom, these allegations hit. Is Tony Buzbee sitting around somewhere, subscribe and following every goddamn body, and knew that Shannon Sharpe was, amiss, accumulating even more wealth, girl, and the ching ching chong chong, along with the fact that this alleged ex-girlfriend of Shannon Sharpe, child, could she be a disgruntled ex? Because she's given enough in her suit to make that a reasonable argument when she says that she was publicly humiliated by the fact that he basically was cheating on her and hooking up with other women. And that's where she drew the line. It wasn't the oral sodomy. It wasn't the anal sodomy. It wasn't all of that. It was the fact that he is hooking up with other hers. So this could be a case of a disgruntled ex-girlfriend. There could be absolutely nothing here. I am curious to know what evidence there is to support her claims. I'm interested to know how much investigation did Tony Buzbee do before he caught himself, representing this plaintiff girl. I'm going to ask you guys. I'm going to do a poll right now. Let me create a poll, girl. And y'all thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. We need all the likes. We need all the likes, Shy. Let me create a poll, girl. Start a Q&A. Do y'all believe the claims against Shannon Sharpe as a... Okay, I just started a poll, y'all. Vote off on the poll, y'all. Do y'all believe these claims? Vote off on the poll. Do y'all believe Shannon Sharpe raped this woman orally and anally? Which, depending on swings both ways, girl. If there are any claims to Shannon Sharpe being on the down low, or being bisexual or pansexual, but maybe he's repressing it, girl. Sometimes closeted men will indulge in hypersexuality to prove something to themselves. Sometimes because they are repressed, they internalize a lot of hostility, and that bleeds through in their personal relationships, girl, leading to DV incidents, etc. Okay. So 78% said no. 23%, 21% said yes. Okay, so the bulk of you guys says no. You guys do not believe this. Very interesting. All right. Queen Cash, says she's in the middle. Misunderstood says no. Taylor says, hell no, Shannon don't even seem like the type. He gives old school values and vibes. You know, look, I'm not saying Shannon did or didn't do it. And I don't want to say this soon in, because, you know, we haven't seen the evidence. But, you know, a lot of our abusive ass grandfathers had a real nice public image of being the deacon and the pastor and real nice and kind, and Papa was a Rolling Stone and going upside Mama's motherfucking head, you know. So, you know, I'm just making the point that public images are not always a reflection of what the real tea is, you know, at home. I'm not saying, though, that Shannon Sharpe is, in fact, guilty. You know, he is innocent until proven guilty, and, you know, yeah, you know, he's innocent until proven guilty, child. You know, but I will say, you know, at surface glance, he doesn't seem to be that kind of guy. But considering that none of us go home to Shannon Sharpe, none of us are dealing with Shannon Sharpe on a, you know, interpersonal level, you know, we only are in relationship to what we see uploaded and see edited and see the persona of him. So, you know. Queen says, exactly, he could be hiding it. It's what I'm hearing. Season said Shannon Sharpe closeted and taking it out on women. Him singing My Michelle shirts was the first hint. My God. He would do it for clout. Undecided says Crystal. Tahisha says Tony trying to redeem himself after messing up the Diddy stuff. Baby, well, he might be further unredeeming himself if he ain't learned a damn thing from the Diddy and the Jay-Z shit. Did you get permission, Tony Buzbee? Did you get your permission slip to represent these folks, baby? Huh? Are you not ethically using other attorneys' codes and passcodes to PACER? Did you well vet this situation? Did you pull any incriminating footage, text messages? Did you check out the phone calls? Have you even proven that this woman even has intimate access to Shannon Sharpe since they were in a consensual 2-year relationship? It should be a lot of evidence then of them being together, girl, from gifts to pictures to affections through text, honey. You know, what's the tea, girl? Did Shannon Sharpe file this lawsuit against himself, girl, because he said, girl, that Michelle video didn't do it, girl? Okay, so he had to crank it up, even if it meant, you know, creating a fictitious filing against himself to imply that not only does he love pussy, but that he loves pussy so much that at this point he's abusing it, girl. Okay, could this be a scheme that Shannon and Todd set up and came back to us with, girl? Who knows? Or is this a disgruntled ex-girlfriend who's pissed off, girl, that he had Michelle singing Beyonce and Kelly Rowland's verse and Cater to You while he had that good NFL dick stuffed in her guts? Okay? What is it giving? We don't know. Clear money grab, especially with Buzbee on the case, period. I don't know, honestly. He does give old school, but men be capable of anything. That part. Shannon could be closeted bully. Who knows? Very well could be. They can lie in front of people. You're right. Yeah, we don't know these people. Right. So true. Didn't think of it that way. I do think he was very weird for how he behaved after the alleged accidental live incident. Being a capitalist, he might have been abusive. I don't believe he's gay. My cousin played with Shannon in Denver, and I didn't know that until a few months ago, and they ran those gardens too. Yeah, girl, you know, he could just be a effeminate heterosexual man, child, you know. He could genuinely love him, the cooch box. She should have got a more, absolutely, girl. I don't know why these folks keep dealing with the Tyrone Blackburns, the Gloria Allreds, the Lisa Blooms, and the Tony Buzbees of the legal world. But it's probably because these people are willing to take up these folk cases pro bono. This just happened in January. Playing football don't mean you're not gay. That's true. She's mad that Michelle was actually Michael and tries to extort Shannon, and it didn't work. Oh, wow. Okay. Girl, that's going too far to prove you're not gay. It is shy, but hey, you know, he was the one who was going to have the Michelle T-shirts out there, child. He the one who let it be known, girl, that, Cat Williams caught him and rooted him on, girl, for successfully dispelling those, LGBT rumors, child, by allegedly leaking his own SEX tape. I still don't where Michelle went to. No one cares about him being gay. It is 2025. What does old school actually mean? Because men been doing this since the beginning of time. Amsterdam, Luke the child. So we're gonna follow the case. We are going to be expecting a statement by the Sharpes. Matter of fact, let me go ahead before we get to our next story. Let me check to see if Shannon Sharpe has released a statement this far regarding the allegations and regarding this lawsuit. Let me see here. No, okay. Hold on, let me check one more thing. Chad. To see if the Shannon Sharpe camp has released. Let me see here. Don't be a booty call. If he don't respect you, girl, he gonna regret you, girl. If he's in a relationship, then he will cheat on her. That means he will cheat on you. Tell him that you're celibate, and if he wants some of your goodies, he gonna have to work for it. Okay, no, he hasn't released a statement yet, child. So we'll be looking to see what Shannon Sharpe has to say, y'all. This woman wants 50 million goddamn bitcoins, honey. Okay, baby. Under this inflation, girl, these celebrities better hide their children, hide their wives, hide their damn Chime accounts, hide their 7 accounts, girl, because celebrity world is the next grift, girl, under this Trump administration, girl, with eggs, $6,000 damn dollars, girl. You're gonna need a goddamn out of court mediation settlement, bitch, to get through rent for a year under this damn inflation. Now, speaking of, okay, yeah, this was more Shannon Sharpe stuff I had up, which we don't need now because I done covered all of that. Y'all favorite manic, bald-headed, crying, always upset, and mad as hell Christian brother in Christ, Kanye West, girl, is out here continuing, girl, to redeem himself by telling all of his personal secrets and confronting his demons out loud. In another episode of the crazy multiverse of Ye Girl, he done took to somebody's social. I thought Ye was suspended or banned, girl. This was a very quick lift of the Twitter ban, girl. Elania Musk, what you doing over there, child? He done took to somebody's social media account, girl, and made this post, which done got the folks stirring, girl. Ye said, this song is called Cousin, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for unaliving a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6. And then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Ye, and I sucked my cousin's dick till I was 14. Tweet sent. I am absolutely not ready. I'm not ready. Oh yes, you all heard that correctly. Kanye West admitted to praying or prematurely exposing his 6-year-old male cousin to adult content and continues to throw his mother under the bus by claiming that the particular adult content that his mother had in her possession, contrary to the content his father had, was far more explicit. It wasn't just beautiful naked women posing, but it was naked women, indulging in actual sex acts with other men. And that he, however old he was at the time, and his 6-year-old cousin began to act out what they saw on demonstration in those magazines. And they did so until he was 14. And now he's allegedly feeling guilty because his cousin went on to live a life of crime and to do a bunch of heinous things. And he's sitting there wondering in the closet that he just halfway came out of if that trauma might have had something to do with his cousin spiraling and screwing up his motherfucking life. Because isn't that what Kanye West does? At this point, screws up lives. He screwed up his own damn life, attempting to screw up his children's lives, attempting to screw up the Kardashians' lives, turned Bianca every which way but goddamn loose and turned her ass inside the fuck out, bitch. And now Kanye West has nothing to do in the personification of him being canceled, girl, but just to put a period on the end of it. And is crying out to the court of public opinion as if he's speaking directly to God, who he should be talking to about all this shit, and not us. Or even better yet, a therapist. Iyanla, where you at? There's a gutter snipe on the line, Iyanla. Okay? Because I'm not exactly sure what the hell we supposed to do with it, except, at least I guess what we always do here with the shenanigans, which is attempt to produce and make a real dialogue out of the foolishness. Because I'm tempted to do a separate live stream and to talk about ancestral molestation, something that we never talk a lot about as a collective in the Black community, is how much cousin on cousin touching took place, how much sibling on sibling touching took place, how many young people experimented on one another, how many people, young people, have been violated by their blood relatives and or learned about their own bodies and sexual organs by indulging in intimate contact with the people that they had the most available to them, which were each other. Talking about the sexual implications of playing house together. This cousin on cousin touching, sibling on sibling touching is a lot more common than what we acknowledge. We talk about the creepy uncle. We talk about the creepy pastor. We talk about the stepdads and their inappropriate foolishness. But the cousin on cousin, the sibling on sibling experimentations, it's a lot more common than what folk realize. Now, you guys know Kanye West has been swamped with rumors of hooking up with Jeffree Star, and you guys know that Amber Rose made claims that she was poking Kanye West all in the asshole, and there's been all of this and been all of that. And Kanye West is another one who is a hypersexual nympho. Multiple lawsuits against him by Ye employees, ex-assistants, proven allegations. The ex-assistant girl had text messages and all. On a psychological level, there is a link between closetedness and sexual abuse and the development of hypersexuality, promiscuity. The man needs deep reformative therapy. As Kanye opens up that denture-filled mouth, we are starting to understand this, how much trauma this man has been through and is hoarding around, which is explaining a lot about the components that led to him losing his motherfucking mind, between the hyper peer pressure and scrutiny from aligning with the Kardashian brand, which is very controlling, very meticulous, to just being a hyper public figure in and of itself. I mean, this man blank getting lipo on the public, calling him fat. He got lipo before his wedding to Kanye West because he felt bullied by the media. Losing his mother. Now we know there's been sexual abuse that goes all the way back, incest and molestation and all of this shit, to his childhood. Baby, Kanye West is becoming undone. And you know, what's interesting about this is that there is always a lot of talk about conspiracy against high profile black men. And I can see a reality to that there is an attack on the black elite, that there is a conversation for that, a legitimacy even to that. But you know what's also contributing to a lot of powerful black men losing their legacy and losing their coin and losing their economy, whether it be R. Kelly, whether it be Diddy, now Kanye, is that we never talk about how a lot of these broken minority men coming from broken minority backgrounds enter into a wealth that is foreign to them, a privilege and a power that's foreign to them. And how, because as a result of them not dealing with the trauma of their experience and of their lived experience and of their minority experience, it ends up poisoning what is supposed to be their promised land experience. If you are a minority ass person, baby, and you have been through some shit, one of the first few things you should do when you come into another level of leveling is get your ass the therapy you need. When you are a minority person, girl, and you have had to come through poverty, you've had to come through sexual abuse, you've had to come through all type of foolishness and lineage trauma and family dysfunction, bullying, whatever it is. One of the first few things you should do with the pieces of gold you get access to, baby, is get your ass into therapy immediately, girl, before you even go any further into the promised land. One of the first things you need to do once you get on the other side of the gate, before you even start going down the driveway to the promised land, is get your ass in therapy immediately. Because what you don't heal up and cure up in your past is going to manifest in your future. As the old saying goes, baby, you can't run from your demons. They're yours. So wherever you at, they at. And if you want your future and you want your accolades and your personal success to really be all that it's supposed to be and give all that it's supposed to give, the only thing that can assist in making those odds completely high is actually confronting your past, confronting the brokenness in your consciousness, healing and confronting your psychic injuries. Because if not, your ass might end up as a Diddy. Your ass might end up as an R. Kelly. Your ass might end up as a Kanye. And the list goes on and 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 on, baby. Yes, we end up as a Amanda Bynes, as a Britney Spears, a Amy Winehouse, a Wendy Williams, girl. The list goes on and 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 on, girl. As a Michael Jackson, who didn't heal up his internalized anti-blackness, who didn't heal up his body dysmorphia, who didn't heal up his childhood trauma, and it turned his ass every which way but loose, girl. He was born an African American and he died looking like Pinocchio, bitch. If you are a person, minority, or not coming out of brokenness and undealt with brokenness resides, PTSD, all levels of trauma, any level of trauma exists in your past, take heed to what we're seeing, and please, with one of your first bouts of coin, baby, is get your ass into therapy and reform and refine and liberate yourself from that shit before you go any further, baby, into your promised land. Please. 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 Let me see here. I'm just so sick and tired of excusing Kanye. We've suffered this fool far too long. Absolutely. What's going on, Sam? Lil Kim. Absolutely. As adults, we need to parent ourselves by seeking therapy. Any child start that part. Deep therapy, and it should be free for all black people. That should be a part of our reparations, baby. It's free health care, free education, free health care. The problem for me is how they use their power for such evil. Yep, it's informed by trauma, patriarchy, socialization, all the things. How do we know something hasn't happened to one of his kids? Of why he's opening up. I had a sister to do this when her 6-year-old was molested and admitted her own. And baby, God forbid. I hope Kanye West ain't done nothing to them kids. And this is why I was okay with Kim. She started keeping them goddamn kids from Kanye West's ass. He want to be linking up with Andrew Tate and all these people who, you know, got allegations and federal investigations against them for trafficking and human trafficking and abuse and all this shit. You know, I hope Kanye West ain't do nothing to those kids. But it's clear to me that if Kanye West had access to his kids, you know, it ain't no telling what type of strange upside down ass reality that he would be having them kids exposed to. So, you know, it's really a shame, but I hope that he ain't did nothing to those damn kids, child. That is going to be a hot mess. Nobody but a highly trained therapist could get this out of me. That part, baby. You know, Kanye West is attempting to do self-therapy through his addiction to attention. So you got two different things happening simultaneously. He's using the worst of his lived experiences as a way to also get attention when he actually needs help. The poor man needs goddamn help, girl. Can you imagine this coming across Kris Jenner's desk? Well, it now officially has. It has. May to July born men, mostly actually curious. Those are the second, third, and fourth astral chart, home, life, and communications, girl. Those zodiacs are always zodiacing. I knew he had trauma far deeper than just his mom passing away. Absolutely. This is something so personal that he needs to work through. Very serious. Baby, that cousin about to sue. Well, he didn't give it I was finna say he didn't give it a names, but he described the cousin down to the detail. More than likely, though, Kanye West isn't lying. You know, most black men are not going, especially most straight identifying black men, they're not going to play around with something like this. With Kanye West admitting that he sucked another man's dick, more than likely, this is very true. Very true. A very uncomfortable truth. A truth that definitely requires Dr. Phil, baby, and all of the Obamacare resources to enter the group chat immediately to deal with. But, you know, more than likely not lying. But if he is lying, oh yeah, old cousin, baby, he got a free get out of jail card. CTV is so right. I'm 39 and all this coming out. My family still holding my cousin who is still around my children and teenagers. My God, today. My God. He's trash for that. Why expose his cousin's business? Because his narcissism isn't even thinking about his cousin. He's thinking about him. And that's how narcissists are. Narcissists are so selfish. They don't have like social awareness. So everybody else ends up sprayed and damaged in return. But the narcissists really just be fixated on their own agenda. So, you know, the cousin is just a side character in this. This is really about Ye. He has no concept of his behavior actually impacting someone else. That's just a part of his narcissistic complex. I'm not saying Kanye did it, but I do say that he or Kim could have exposed them to something or someone. It's a lot of conversation around that. Even some of Kim's questionable ways with that clothing brand that came under fire, Balenciaga, to, you know, her and Pete's relationship, and, you know, the daughter sitting on Pete's lap and all this stuff after Pete done made inappropriate statements in his comedy specials about being inappropriate with children. Girls, it's a mess. You know, ain't neither one of them perfect. It's enough that they both done to just for the kids to end up with anybody but either one of their asses. The only thing is how much better. Yep, you know, it might be the lesser of two evils, child. The lesser of two evils. He's not smart for revealing this publicly. His visitation will be revoked. He probably don't even visit his damn cousin, unfortunately. I'm kind of feel sorry for Kanye West, but he running people away with his antics. He done lost his second wife down. Black people just now getting therapy this generation. Yep. I always understand when Kim started moving the way she did. He was doing the most. Only a narc would make his wife disrobe in public. Yep, Skeet. He's a weirdo. Kim is not better either. Yeah, this is a mess, child, y'all. This is just crazy. This is crazy, girl. You know, but I hope the black community, you know, we do something substantive with Kanye's, with his admission, you know, because this can lead to a bigger conversation beyond Kanye West about, you know, a lot of ancestral experiences that people have had, you know, with their siblings and with their cousins, etc., girl. Because there's definitely a reality to that as well. So y'all keep Kanye West, girl, in prayer. Try to keep him lifted. The man is definitely spiraling. His brain is becoming undone. He ain't got nothing to live for, girl. He's just telling all of his secrets, girl. Is Kanye West getting ready to leave here, girl? Because it's definitely giving self-deletion vibes, girl. You know, his it's nothing but drama and sadness in Kanye West's brain and in his heart. He feels very heartbroken by everything. He feels very disappointed in his relationship to Jay-Z and Beyonce. He feels very let down by his kids, by both of his ex-wives, by the passing of his mom. He's riddled with guilt and shame about things in his childhood. I mean, Kanye West is a mess. But I'll tell you this. If any of those sexual abuse claims are real, as sad as it is, he's another one that needs to be apprehended. I've been telling y'all that Kanye West is up next. After they get finished with Diddy ass girl, Kanye West is up next. They're coming for Kanye West next. And he won't have a fighting chance because, girl, he's helping the feds to build their ultimate case as he continues to spiral, girl. I believe the feds are just going to let Kanye West spiral down. Let him tell all his own business. He gonna incriminate his own damn self. I think he recently made another post pretty much admitting that he has been forceful sexually or something in the vein of that, girl. I'm like, Kanye West, do you realize that you have civil lawsuits against you, sir? For sexual exploitation, sexual assault, etc. You know what? He's up next. Trust. All right, that's our hot topics, guys. You guys tell me what you guys think in the comment section. Girl, thumbs up the video if you enjoyed yourself. Y'all already know what to do, baby. Show some love to the Cash App, $ Consciouztv, and or paypal.me/ConsciouzTV. Email me or the T. We might have to come back again to talk about Megan Thee Stallion. I think there's been some headways in the litigation and Tory's deposition situation. Girl, we got to talk about that. Follow me on Patreon for all true crime, politic, and spiritual content. And I will see you all later. Peace.